Good morning. Happy Easter, gentlemen.
Happy
Happy Easter.
Easter. We have a special guest via Lutz slash Alaska, now Beaumont, Texas. The one, the only Justin Moff. Give me a hug, big guy. Yeah. He's one of the give him huggies, air huggy. There we go. There we go.
Yes.
Yep. He's joining us this week because he's back in town. Although he's been traveling all over the place and working all over the place, he is getting married next week. How about that?
Awesome.
What do you think, Pusky?
That's awesome, man. That's crazy.
Oh, it's this week.
Yeah, this
Oh
This
my.
week. That's why he's home. Come
Yeah.
on.
Oh, isn't that it's this week? Sorry, that's right. It's this week.
Where
Tell
will,
us.
is the wedding in town?
It's gonna be in Naples.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's where my
okay.
fiance's from. So
Very cool.
yeah, we have a good spot.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Tell us a little bit about. Let's start there. Seeing as we're right on the spot, tell us about how you and Abby met.
So it was actually during 2020 in COVID. After our spring break, our school sent us home and we did like remote school for that whole semester, which was odd. Well, Abby went to USF, and she actually was somehow connected with Dietz. Dietz starts everything. Everything runs through Dietz. And I knew that Dietz knew of Abby, and like I thought Abby was pretty and like wanted to meet her, hang out. And then I don't know, something happened where she reached out to me, and then we kind of just hit it off from there.
There it is. And the rest.
Yeah,
is
4 years later, we're getting married. So.
The rest is Dietzery.
Yeah, this is Dietz.
It's
Shout out Dietz.
Shout out Dietz. Hey, listen,
Dietz.
show up. Where the heck have you been? Like a ghost.
Yeah.
But
Let's get ready for Dietzmas 2024.
that's it. For those who don't know, Justin was one of the very key elements for our first playoff run in 2015. He graduated that year also. He played his college football at the Coast Guard Academy. And then he started his career in Alaska. Let's roll back. Let's go back into history and back into time, shall we? 2015, favorite memory, and then not you, favorite memory of Justin Moffatt in the 2015 season.
Oof. There were a lot. I had the river game at Newsom where our sideline had a river and he had the jet sweep for a touchdown.
Yes.
But it would probably have to be at Dr. Phillips. We had a young quarterback at the time that was in and he was struggling a little bit. And Justin just came over and kind of took the game into his hands. He's like, put me in, I'll take this. And came in, threw a touchdown, and he's just an ultimate competitor, man. And later I found out that pretty much every sport on earth, if you're competing against him, and he's going to find a way to beat you. So
that's me too. Me too was
just the way he went about himself and kind of put the team on his back all the time.
Yep. He was one for me. The Dr. Phillips game was the one for me because he was the complete package the whole year. But from his junior to his senior year, what a lot of people don't know is he was about my height in his junior year. And in the summertime, he grew, 4 or 5 inches. And oftentimes when kids grow like that, they get awkward because they have to kind of relearn how to run and relearn how to catch because everything changes. Something happened. Justin has always been a great athlete, but he in fact got better. His hands got better, his feet got better. And like you said, he has always been competitive and he has never been worried about putting the team on his back. He took that game and we were a quarter. We were a quarter from taking Dr. Phillips and having one of the hugest upsets. But yeah, I remember that too. Our quarterback was a young guy, and he was struggling. I mean, it's the first time that we had all been in playoffs. But Moff was like, "Hey man, let me go to quarterback," and threw a touchdown. But I remember that game also, the Riverview game. Was it Riverview?
I thought it was Newsom.
Newsom, where
Mhm.
they were actually later on as well. Remember, it was a tough team. That was a team that we had to get through to get to playoffs. And he had scored was like 3 touchdowns in the first half.
Oh, you're talking about Alonzo.
That's a different game.
I don't know.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this.
Yes, it's 6 a.m. No. The jet sweep that goes to the
That was
house.
Newsom. Okay.
That was Newsom.
Yeah, that was
Yes.
Newsom.
Oh my gosh. Sometimes listen, I'm zombieing right now.
You know what's happening at this very moment? Coach Perez has paper out. And he's like,
Oh, dude, he's writing it all down. No, but remember the Alonzo game too. That's another good one. He scores 3 in the first half, and then he puts another 2 in the second. Was it 5 that you had that game?
Yeah, 4 or 5.
Yeah, but he scored on every time he touched the football, which is crazy. Now, while we have you here, tell us what your favorite high school memory was.
I would say it goes beyond the football field.
Okay.
Like, I just think back to the summer times when, like, all the guys we would work out, we get our butts kicked, and then, next thing you know, we're all rolling up to HH, and we're playing we're playing soccer on that outdoor hockey rink, or like going in the pool, just like spending time with each other, and that's what always keeps me coming back to Tampa. Running into the guys, and we pick up where we never left off. And obviously we have a lot of good memories on the football field. You go through adversity, and you get through stuff together, so that gets you closer. But ultimately, I think it's what happened off the field is where I really grew that relationship with all the guys.
Nice. Tell us who you still keep in contact with. Because you graduated 2015.
Yeah.
It's 9 years later.
Yeah.
Tell us, one, who you still keep in contact with, and are any of those guys in your wedding? I have one that's probably Dietz.
Yeah.
Dietz he's the ultimate ghost, but he's everywhere. So obviously Zach.
Yep.
Who else do you still keep in contact with, and who else is in your wedding?
Mm-hmm. I mean, really all the guys. I mean, we're in group chats, and but I would say Dietz, Carson Cleo is going to be in my wedding. Pat Lukert.
Nice.
Jason Bird's going to be there.
Oh, nice. Birdman.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's.
But hey, look, do you know Bird?
But I mean, we go to, like, I would say though, like, when I go to Dietzmas every year, that's when I really get to see a lot of the guys. I get to run into Andre.
Yeah.
Too. He's awesome. Makes amazing food. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just awesome what we built here in Lutz. We'll have it forever.
Yeah. Those guys, funny enough, right, have come back. Talking about Bird, talking about Dre, talking about Boggs.
Right.
Those guys are all now back, and they're also on the coaching staff now.
Yep.
Hey, we always talk to them about, hey, what was it like with football? And then we say, hey, what is it like being on the other side of the ball? Right? You've been such a good athlete forever, since I've ever known you. And football for you finished in college. Now you're a big golf guy. And you've started your own company with golf. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the whole premise behind my golf business is I realize there's a strong connection between, preparing the body and how you're able to play on the course. And a lot of people will go right to the range, and they'll go to the swing coach or the club pro and be like, hey, I want my swing corrected. And it gets frustrating for, the club pro, because they're like, golf's a super hard sport, very technical. And they might be like, hey, I need you to rotate around your trail side hip. Well, if that player isn't able to rotate around their trail side hip or their target side hip, they're not going to be able to execute what the club pro is telling them. So where I come into play is I'm that guy that kind of works on your body and prepares it so you can have all the range of motion, mobility, the strength necessary. So then I can send you off to that club pro confidently, knowing that you're going to be able to make that technique change because your body's capable of it. And that's kind of the whole basis of it. It keeps me ticking. Like I just love diving into the research, and I don't know how many people follow it, or but it's just something I love to do, and it's really a great time. I write a few articles, and I just love doing the whole body swing connection, connecting it with movements and exercises and applying it. And it's helped my golf game so much. My whole life, I was never able to, just simply touch my toes. And after playing football for 19 years, like I was so stiff and it was affecting my game. Like I was like, it's not normal for me to be 22, 23 and like my back is tightening up on the back nine. So my fiance, she introduced me to yoga. She makes great food, and I got really big into CrossFit these past few months. I actually just became a certified coach. So I'm planning on coaching there. But just all these things combined, really just elevated my game. And I wanted to create a platform where hopefully I could share a little of my story. And ultimately, I just want to, help other golfers get better, because it's a frustrating sport. And there's a lot that goes in it behind the scenes and just showing up out there if you really want to get better. That's everything in life.
You know what another frustrating sport is? Is pickleball.
Yeah.
You know why?
Oh,
Because not because of the game. It's actually a good game. I just hate the name.
Pickleball.
The name sucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we got a couple pickleballers on our coaching staff. Primarily,
it's the players. It's the players, because everyone who plays pickleball wants you to play pickleball, because they have nobody else that wants to play pickleball with them, and they're all like, "Will you please play with me?
Play pickleball with us, Coach
pickleball."
Jordan." I also heard Coach Perez is actually a mean pickleball player too. Like I said, I give it a little bit of. It looks good. It looks like a fun sport. It's like ping pong with a wiffle ball.
What's wrong with tennis though, man?
That's what I'm
I feel
saying.
like we all put tennis to the side. It's make it a little smaller so people don't have to run all around and make it easier. And people are like, oh yeah,
it's lazy tennis.
Revolutionary.
It's made for players like Coach Jordan.
It's legitimately the equivalent of taking like a baseball field, making it like 150 feet instead of 300.
So start hitting homers.
Let's go backwards. Let's go back in
Powerball.
Yeah, like when you're 12, you go from the little field to the big field.
Yeah.
In pickleball, that's backwards. Like, you know what? Tennis is kind of hard. Let's make it a little easier. Like, we don't want to play table tennis, right? But let's not play it, because ping pong's a stupid name too. Well, let's make a half court game. And let's call it pickleball.
It's legitimately a drunk game. There were frat guys that were sitting around the room, and they're like, maybe we could play on the table. And that's it. They just created a bigger game.
You know what I mean? That I don't understand it. I like the game, but like, it's when I think of pickleball, I think of like shuffleboard. I think of like old people playing that game, and then you see these people that actually play, and you're like, why don't you just play tennis? You're like super athletic. Go play tennis instead. Then I look at Coach Jordan. I go, yeah, that's a pickleball. That's a pickleball.
I am curious. I'm big into PGA. I watch it like crazy. Have since I was little. I grew up on the Arnold Palmer golf course in Bay Hill.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm curious. Who are some of your favorite players? Talk about them. And what do you like about their game?
I would say Justin Thomas. He's been my favorite now for a few years. I really just started liking him back in the day. He was winning majors, and I really liked his performances in the Ryder Cups early on, where that's Team USA goes against Europe, and just like the pride he had. He's confident. He fired up the team, and he just seemed like an awesome guy. And a lot of golfers aren't fiery like that. They're more reserved, but I always appreciated him for being authentic in that way.
Ooh, speaking of, how about this? Now that we have an actual golf guy here, because we usually like football, right? What are your thoughts, or what is your opinion on live tour.
Yeah.
When that survived, what do you think about? Because I talk to some golfers and they are like, they're on one side of the fence or the other about those guys that went to live and then went to live and came back. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think ultimately, the PGA is suffering right now because they have lost quite a few guys over to live. If you look at the fields every week, they're a little weaker. I wouldn't say, I'd be hesitant to say weaker. There's just fresher, newer names that are getting an opportunity. And I think, and a lot of them are making a name for themselves. But I definitely do miss the days and, I think the merger ended or started in 2022. But, just having a field with, Spieth, Scotty Scheffler, Justin Thomas, with Rahm, with Dustin Johnson, Brooks, Taylor Gooch, all of them, like, sport definitely misses it. And that's what's going to be so special about the majors moving forward is all these guys are allowed to compete in the same field. And I mean, that I feel like that's all we really want. I don't really want to pick a side. I just want to see the best golf. So I hope they figure out a way where they can combine the tours, and there's a lot of financial stuff
Yeah, it's all
in it. So
it's all a money grab.
yeah, I don't know.
I
But
wish I had that kind of money.
yeah.
You know what I mean? In fact, we just had somebody, did you guys see that somebody won the 1 point something billion Mega Millions or something like that? Somebody
Bro,
up in New Jersey. How
Wow.
ridiculous is that? You know what I mean?
That's,
What are you gonna do? Like, what would you do with so say you got that 1 billion. Then you figure after taxes you'll get about 500 million. Like, what would be the first thing that you would purchase with 500 million? Just one thing.
Just one thing. I mean,
easy,
Okay, you get your turn. Relax.
easy.
Relax.
I would say after, taking care of family and donating,
Yeah.
I would probably want to invest in a golf course.
Ooh. Wait, invest or build your own golf course?
Like build my own and invest in a club. And
Dang.
Apple Creek's available.
What would be the name of the golf course if you built one?
It would have to depend on like the geographic
Beats World.
location. But yeah, Beats World, yeah.
All right,
World Golf Club.
your turn, Coach Buskey. What would be the first
before I took care of friends and family? I would buy the lake behind Austin's house. I would drain it, and I would build something absurd there that you'd have to look at every day and be very annoyed. It would be amazing. It would be amazing.
You're a jerk.
I mean, we could put water in it sometimes, but
just randomly pull water in and out of there. No, listen, I have no idea because you guys are saying these classic answers. I'm the same. You want to pay all your bills, you want to take care of your family, but say you bought that first thing, and then say you bought like the 1,000th thing, then you look at your account and you still got hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, what do we do? You know what I mean? Like,
I legitimately think I would just like make people's lives,
like
I would
Mr.
have
Beast. Like, you just walk around and be like, "Hey, here you go, 10G.
Hey, you want to do something fun? Let's have a challenge."
Yeah, let me punch you in the face. I'll give you 10G. Yeah. You know what I mean? Eat this. Remember the one chip challenge that kids were doing? You know what that is?
One chip.
They bought this thing in a box, and it had one tortilla chip in it that was like a Dorito, but it had like the hottest sauce.
It was like blue.
The thing had a skull and crossbones on it. And we had these knuckleheads in high school that were doing the one chip challenge, but it tell you it's gonna burn. It's gonna, you know what? I will buy.
It showed you the stages. It was like you're gonna feel warm. Then this is gonna happen, and the kids would always put it in their mouth and be like, "Oh, that's not bad."
Yeah.
And within a minute, it just foaming from the mouth, like blood coming out of their eyes.
So I would buy. Listen, I would buy like. Now I know what I would do with my first purchase. I would buy that company, and then I would do one chip challenges, and then I would do 2 chip challenges, and then I would see who would be dumb enough to do it for like 10 grand, 20 grand. Hey, listen, You do 10 chip challenge, you get 100 grand.
10 chip challenge. You'll be dead.
Dude, you need a hospital. Then I
Yeah.
build a hospital
Yep.
for all those people that ate all those chips and then had intestinal problems, whole
Oh my
big massive
God.
ulcers in their intestines.
People are out here helping other people get, and you're like, how can I kill as many people with chips as possible?
Bro, listen, you're draining the lake at my house to build
mean-
something absurd that I have to look at all the time. So,
How do you know it wasn't going to be a statue of you?
oh, that'd be terrible. It'd be like this big. It should be like of both of us. That'd be okay. Listen,
Man.
I would probably in that money
Pickleball courts. It would be pickleball courts.
and we'd call them we would call them Dietz Gardens.
Pete's Gardens. That's a good name.
It is. But what I would do at some point in time, I feel like I should sip too. Look, you guys are both drinking your coffee. Cheers, boys. Cheers. Hey, we're all drinking coffees. See, but I don't drink coffee. I would at some point in time though think, is a statue of yourself, is that
narcissistic?
yes, it's no, narcissistic. Stop. Is it cocky or is it confident? Like
it's
honestly,
you build a statue yourself, you're a narcissist.
On who builds it.
Okay, so listen. So
if it's of you that you paid for, you're a narcissist.
Yeah, that
really. So what if it was like you won the $1 billion lottery and you spent $1,000 on thousands of different things, including the statue of you and me standing in the middle of my lake? Are we narcissistic at that point?
No, well, we would make the statue funny though.
Yeah, of course we would. We'll
Yeah,
make ourselves bobbleheads, or those pop Funkos, like those little body and those big heads, and make it so that our heads actually bobble in the wind. So all day we're like,
oh, you're an idiot. I love you.
all right, tell us what the plan is for Easter. What are you doing for Easter? Don't tell us something about Dietz, because Dietz has not invited us to anything. Dietz, come on. What are we doing?
Nothing with Dietz on Easter.
Like and follow Dietz. Come on. At least hit it right now down there. At the very least you can do. Tell us what you're doing.
I'm gonna get some work in this morning with the guys, and then I'm gonna go to church with my mom around 9, and then I'm just going over to my grandparents' house and celebrating and having a good day.
Nice. Pusky, what are you guys doing? Oh, wait, I forgot. You don't believe in God, so you can't.
Oh, stop.
You guys are gonna have real Easter
We did a
eggs.
big family day yesterday. My sisters were in town and my mom was in town. My sister Heather, who works at Steinbrenner. What?
All the sisters?
3 of the sisters. One sister wasn't there. She's still up north.
Oh, yeah. Oh, cool.
So then the Easter Bunny came last night for the kiddos, and you can just have a nice little family day together. Maybe grill a little bit. Maybe drain your lake. I don't know. See what the day brings.
Did anybody understand? I mean, I get Christmas and I get the Tooth Fairy. Where did you know what? We should have researched that. Where did the Easter Bunny come from? Like, what is the origin of the Easter Bunny? And why does he come in the night? You know what I mean?
Here goes Peter Cottontail hopping down the bunny trail.
Yes, sir. No, but for real, why do we use bunnies at Easter? Like, you know what? We're gonna do it right now.
I bet it had something to do with Cadbury.
Hey Siri. Greatest commercials ever. Where did the Easter? God darn it. She doesn't like my accent. Here, let's do this. I'll do this. I have to learn my password first. All right. Okay. Where did the Easter Bunny originate from?
Probably someplace like Holland.
Wait, here we go. Easter Bunny origins. Ready? Words. I don't read so good, guys. So long-eared. Okay, wait, here we go. Pagan traditions. Right up your alley. Oh, there we go. It says ancient pagan tradition. the festival of Istorore, which honors the goddess of fertility and
Ooh.
spring.
Okay.
The goddess's animal symbol was a rabbit. Okay. And it's traditionally stood for fertility due to their high reproductive rates. So basically, on Easter, we're supposed to reproduce. We go, hey, here we go.
That's why you got a lot of December babies.
That's why there's all those Easter eggs everywhere. Because you know, like when rabbits poop, it's not like it's like nerds when you pour a box of nerds in your hand. Instead they poop out eggs on Easter. How about that? Listen, we checked it too, by the way. It's the interwebs, always true.
I think it has something to do with the goddess of fertility.
I
believe it's a pagan tradition.
Okay.
Right up your alley.
I love it. So
let's go to college.
So
Can we go to college?
No, wait, let's finish. So now we know. Now you know. The Easter bunny is from the pagan tradition of rabbits being super, super fertile. And so while you're eating those Easter eggs, imagine you're eating bunny droppings. Enjoy. All right, cool. You're up.
Easter Bunny's a nymphomaniac. Austin said it.
Wait, can we say nymphomaniac?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we can say whatever we want.
Hey, listen, if they're
That's why I call it Hump Day also. So then Easter Bunny. I'm just kidding. Go ahead. What were you going to ask?
Coast Guard Academy.
Ooh.
You have an incredible career, cut short 1 year by COVID, and legitimately you would have broken quite a few records if you had that year. You ever think about that? Or is it kind of just, it is part of the journey and it is what it is?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Looking back on it, I don't even really remember, like the 200-yard games and all that stuff. Like, it goes beyond the field again. Like the best friends that I made on that team, they're all going to be at my wedding this weekend, and it's just special. And I cherish, those moments more than, those games. But a lot of good stories came out of that whole thing. I'll share one real quick. So my senior year got cut short, and I was like 190 yards away from the school record. It was set in like 1996. So that was a bummer. But I went on like a field trip to the Capitol in Washington, D.C. And it was just kind of like a meet and greet. We met some like people working at headquarters for the Coast Guard, and we're all in a suit and we're mingling around talking. And there's a captain in the Coast Guard that just came up to me and my quarterback, and we were just, talking and introduced ourselves. And he was like, "What are your names?" And I was like, "My name is Justin Moffatt." And he just goes, he's like, "Get the F out of here." Points at me. He's like he's a captain in the Coast Guard. And I was like, "How does he know me?" Like, and then he's like, "There's no way." He's like, "Really, Justin Moffatt?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Wow, I'm Christian Lee," and put out his hand. And Christian Lee, he's the guy who set the record back in 1996. We ran into each other.
Oh, wow.
And he ended up taking me and my friend behind the scenes in the Capitol to his office, and we got to walk through all the offices. And then when I got into the office, he was like, "I want you to introduce yourself to the office." And I said my name, and they all knew me. They were like, "No way!" Like that's crazy. And this happened before COVID all happened. So, he was like, "Congrats on breaking my record," all this stuff. Like, "I'm so happy for you." But yeah, I don't know how he got COVID to happen.
So Christian Lee.
There's another stud at the academy right now who's gonna break all of them. But it was a cool story, and I actually ended up a few months later. My fiance, she was my girlfriend at the time, but we actually were in DC or in the Maryland area, and he invited us over his house, and we met his wife and kids, and they're awesome. So, like I said, like
Awesome.
It sucked that that season ended and got cut short, but a lot of good things come out of it. You know, I get to hold on to that, you know, that memory and tell it, and you know, it's awesome.
Oh yeah. What a weird time that
Yeah,
was.
weird time, man.
Hey, listen, we also as coaches, because you were easily one of our favorite guys that came through Steinbrenner, and you're one of the few guys that actually gets to play at the next level. We follow all you guys. So all the guys that went to college, whether it was Andre, whether it was Pat Lukert, whether it was Kezio, whether it was you, even Dietz.
Mm-hmm.
You at? We follow you guys, and we all watched the game where you were right on the break.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and we're all sitting and we do that all the time. Whenever the games are televised, we're on our group chat. We're firing off because
Right.
we are in such big fans of the guys that played for us, but not just because of the football, because we know who you are as the human being. We know who you are as the student for the teachers who are there. For guys like myself, we know who you are as the person. And so it sucked for us too. We were disappointed that it didn't happen, but for all intents and purposes, right? There was a phenomenal career that you had with us at Steinbrenner that translated into a phenomenal career over there at the Coast Guard. Tell us, while you're telling us stories, tell us a story about your craziest story in Alaska, the adventures in Alaska. Give us one of those. Because all I see on your Instagram is like gorgeous settings. You and the
polar
missus,
bears,
dude, hanging out, doing cool stuff in Alaska. Tell us one of your favorite stories from there.
There's so many.
Yeah, did you say polar bears?
No polar bears.
Instead of riding polar bears.
I would say a pretty cool story is my parents actually flew up there, and we were taking them out to dinner, and they were like adamant on like, I want to see a grizzly bear, a Kodiak bear, you know, biggest bears in the world.
Oh damn!
And I was like, well, we got to go, you know, we got to go hiking for that. Like they're not just on the road system. But I was like, I don't feel we know we don't really feel comfortable hiking unless, you know, we're strapped and all this. So anyway, we're driving out to this restaurant. It's about 45 minutes outside of the town, and we get right up to the restaurant, and there's like a little bridge with a river. And sure enough, I've never seen this in my life. We saw a Kodiak bear just like waiting for us, picture perfect from the car, and just yep. And he put on a show for us. He jumped in the river and caught 2 salmon right in front of my parents, and I was like,
"That's awesome."
Yeah, here you're welcome.
Yeah,
Mom and Dad, you're welcome.
Your parents are like, "This is the coolest place ever."
Yeah.
You're like, this never happens.
I want to live here also.
But yeah, no, that was awesome. That just happened like that.
That is a super cool story.
Yeah.
How long were you stationed out there?
2 years.
Okay.
And then I also would say another favorite memory is that's where I got engaged. I got engaged on top of a mountain, overlooking the water, and it was like a beautiful August day. So that's a memory I'll always have too.
Yeah,
you could drive up to the mountain too, so it's not like we had a hike and then I proposed. Like, you know, she wore something nice, so did I. And
oh yeah,
awesome.
we saw the Instagram, dude. We were chopping it up on the Instagram too, going because that's amazing. It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe that 9 years has passed by, and here you are getting married.
Yeah.
Sucker like the two of us. Yikes.
Coach Haas is not super cultured, as you know. Have you ever been in an igloo?
No, that doesn't exist where I was.
Told you, Austin. I told you.
Listen, but here, have you ever, and Alaska is, you know, a great white north up there, but have you ever seen the extremely rare husky bear?
No, I've not.
Well, you're looking at him right now. Big husky bear.
Your child.
You're a child.
Oh, that's funny.
You're a child.
You're a child. Well, okay. So tell us, now that we're winding down here, and we actually have to work out, unlike someone else who's going to go to bed after they drink their
I don't go to bed.
Stop it, you pagan.
Cheers.
What? Yeah, tell us while we're on the way, because there are it's a different generation of guys. When you played,
Mhm.
as the generations have gone on, the football is the same, but the guys are changing. And at the program now, there's this whole turnover. You wouldn't recognize any of those guys, but those guys know about you and a lot of those other great leaders at Steinbrenner because we always talk about you guys. That's what you guys were, the foundation of the program when you were there.
Mhm.
What advice do you have for those guys who are 14, 15, 16-year-old kids that are on the path but don't know where they're going?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What kind of advice do you have for them now that you're almost a decade removed?
Yeah. I have a lot to say on this. I would start it out with, I think loyalty shows a lot to one, college coaches, and two, just sticking at your high school. That's where you create your friendships, and no matter what happens on that field, you can always go back and have those guys. And so often, in today's generation, uh, there's so many transfers, and I understand if there's coaching changes or you just want a fresh start. Totally understand. But I feel like a lot of these transfers and what I'm seeing, even at the high school level, it's because these players are facing adversity, and they don't want to challenge themselves. And they're like, "Hey, I'm not going to be the wide receiver one at this school, so I'm going to try to go to this school." And what I see often is it's a lateral move, and it doesn't really work out that way. Where if you're not a wide receiver one at this school, you're probably not going to be a wide receiver one at this school. The only way to get to that wide receiver one role, like, you got to put in the work. And I've learned at a young age, like, nothing in life worth having comes easy, and I totally believe in that. I think it was my sophomore year, week 3 after the Alonzo game. We were in the locker room changing, and that's when Austin, I didn't know it, changed my life. He comes up to me and goes, um, they're doing these Sunday workouts, like these crazy kids on the team. I was pretty intimidated, didn't want to do it. But he came up to me and said, "Hey, am I going to see you out there this Sunday?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know, like 300-pound tires. Like, I'm a little guy at the time. Like, I'm nervous, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do it." Me and Deet showed out that Sunday. Hands bleeding. I think I still have scars on my hands. Hands bleeding from the tire, the prowler, like nauseous, and probably threw up. I mean, just kicked my butt. But then every Sunday, I got a little better and better. And what we were doing, we're just compounding consistency. And next thing I know, I go from my sophomore year, you know, undersized, small, slow. And because I said, you know what, I'm not going to transfer to a private school or something where I can, immediately, get the light and be that wide receiver one. I'm going to put my head down and earn this. And that's what I'm most proud of myself for doing. It opened so many doors for me. I don't think I would have even played college football if I didn't do something about getting my weight up and my size up. Even working on those tennis ball drills, still to this day, before every football game in college, I had someone tossing me tennis balls. I was juggling. People were like, "You're crazy." And I was like, "I'm not dropping that ball up the middle." But it's the fine details.
Yeah.
But I know I'm going on a tangent, but back to that.
Hold on a sec. Let's restart.
Yeah.
Let's restart because we want to hear all this. We'll be right back. And we're back. And we're back. Now we have upgraded to the paid version because we just had to hear the rest of the story. Although there was some inappropriate conversations happening off air, which is perfect timing. Please finish what you were saying.
Hi, Mom.
Time in. Go ahead, Justin. What were you?
Yeah, just to wrap it all up, I would, if I'm talking to those, freshmen, sophomore, juniors in high school right now, if you're thinking about leaving your high school and you want to get in a better situation, better fit, whatever, first off, I would have a conversation with your coach, and maybe be like, "Hey, this is where I want to be, and I'm not starting, and like, what do I got to do to put in the work?" Instead of, ghosting them, and then going to another high school and trying to figure it out yourself. I think it's really important and mature of someone to approach the coach and, you know, have that conversation. I think it's going to get you to a better place. And on top of that, when you're getting recruited by these colleges, you know, they're recruiting hundreds and thousands of kids depending on the school. And it's hard to keep up with you if they're like, hey, I like this kid. And then they come to that high school, they're not going to know you transferred to that other high school. You know, like I would just, I really, really think that showing your loyalty to one school, creating those friendships that are going to last forever is super important. And I feel like a lot of the college coaches in the recruiting world, you know, that they see right through that.
Yeah.
If you're transferring, you know, in high school multiple times, what do they think you're going to do? You're in college, you're going to hit the portal every year.
Yeah.
And I just heard a podcast on Tom Izzo, the basketball coach at Michigan State, talking about this. And he was like, I worry about this for kids because, you know, if you go to Michigan State and then transfer to Northwestern and then transfer to Illinois, then you graduate and only 1% make it to the NBA or NFL out of, you know, the college landscape. Once they get that degree, you know, they don't have anything to fall back on. Like, are you going to claim that you're from Michigan State, Illinois, Indiana? Like, you don't really have that brotherhood that you have to build over a few years. And he really took pride in his program where he's like, I really feel like I do a good job of keeping the guys at Michigan State and trying to develop them. He's like, there's so many players that made it to the NBA from my team where after year one, if they turn around and left me and like didn't trust the process, you know, they wouldn't be there today. And I think that's just valuable. And it's something that the younger football players need to hear.
Yeah.
You know, loyalty runs deep.
Fine. We're good. They're definitely when it comes to what you're saying, it brings to mind this adage, right? That we hear, but it's always incorrect. That blood is thicker than water, right? Where the actual adage is the blood of the battle is thicker than the water of the womb, which means it's not family over everything. It's the blood of the battle is thicker than the water of the womb. Means those who are with you during the storm will be with you when the storm is over and they enjoy the rainbow with you.
Right.
But those who watch the rainbow with you are not always going to be the people that want to be in the storm with you. And so it's always interesting to hear that conversation, especially in the landscape now, because there are so many athletes that think that the grass is greener on the other side, where you're saying something that we preach year after year at Steinbrenner, and because of the way transfers happen in high school, but now because of the landscape of transferring in college, it's the grass is not greener on that other side. That's not what the concern is. It's what are you doing on this side of the grass to keep it green? Are you cutting it? Are you watering it? Are you fertilizing it over here? And on your same note, right? If you do those things here, then what happens is you start building and forging those relationships that are some of them that are thicker than the relationships you have with your own family. Because like the adage says, the blood of the battle, is thicker than the water of the womb. Going back to that again, right? Just because we're related doesn't mean we have the same character, doesn't mean we have the same integrity, doesn't mean that we have the same value system. So when the pressure is on, right, we will respond completely different. But if you and I have been forged by fire, if we've been put under pressure, and we both know that we've made it to the other side, dude, that's trust. That's where I think that builds. So it's a great conversation for this generation of guys. I tell the story or that story all the time about the diamonds, right? Creation of diamonds. You've heard that story too. Like diamonds are created by coal. Like coal and diamonds are the same. I said to my 8-year-old son, but he goes, no, they're not. And I go, it is. But coal is hidden in a mountain, and the pressure of that mountain over thousands of years only does two things to that coal. It will crush it and turn it into dust, or it will sustain the pressure and it'll turn that coal into a diamond. And I think for all the young kids, in a microwavable society, they're so used to, I just want to get something right now.
Right.
And you are that prime example of like, follow the path, trust the process, and the success is there, but you don't know where it's at. You just have to keep running.
Right.
But that's why when we reached out, you said that you were going to come work out. We were immediately like, hey, we actually have to have this guy on, because you're the underrated guy that turned into the guy that went somewhere else, had to start all over again at Coast Guard, and then had to deal with the adversity of COVID. And then, went back and almost broke a school record. And all of the success you're enjoying now was from all of the suffering that you were willing to put yourself through back then. So, yeah, for the young guys, this is a Lutz guy. This is a guy that's in the same spot that you are in currently. Yeah, it's been an absolute honor and pleasure to have you on. Husky, you got anything else for Moff?
No, man, it's just we're really excited about your wedding, and congratulations to you. You've always been a fan favorite in our household, so I know my son always looked up to you. My wife enjoyed having you as a student, so we're just really excited for you, man. And as you take this next step, just do it the way you do it.
Hey, wait, here you go.
Go all in.
How about this? What about this? One bit of marriage advice, because you know how they do that at the reception. Let's do that for him. You do one, I'll do one, and then we'll close it.
For me, it's always don't keep track of things. It's not about what you do or what your spouse does. It's that you are a team and that you're in everything together. So there's going to be times where you can give more than she can give. There's going to be times in her life where she can give more than you can give. Just, it's a partnership. You're there to just think about your team, right? You pick up your team when they're down, and, you lean on them when you're down. And it's a beautiful thing when you can have relationships in life where you're not stressed and worried about, well, what are they doing for me? Or like, what am I getting out of it? Just exist in the love that you've created, and, continue to push together on growing and building something beautiful together.
Yeah, that's great.
I like that.
Mine is ready. Ready for mine? Don't be petty. Let it go. Let it go. Because you're going to say some things, she's going to say some things, and do some things in the course of your marriage that you're going to find offensive. You got to let them go. Because what happens is, just like Coach Pusky is saying, you'll start to keep score.
Right.
Don't keep score. Bro, the hard work is just starting. The happily ever after doesn't exist. When you get married, you have to put in, just like you've done in everything else you've put your mind to. It's every day you have to win that day. So winning that day, sometimes you have to let the little stuff go. And by doing that, your mindset's always in the right space, and you're always playing for the team.
Mm-hmm.
You're not playing for just you. You're not keeping score, right? But I'm telling you, there's going to be some things you're going to hold on to. Let it go, bro. Let it go. That's the key. That's why I see when he said he made those comments off air.
Yeah,
I let it go. That's why we have such a great relationship.
Yeah.
So, or else I would punch him right in his husky hair belly.
Can I throw my young marriage advice? For the younger people.
There you go, young marriage advice.
Marriage advice. If you want to know if she's the one or not, take her to a remote island in Alaska and live with her for 2 years, and you will know. You will know.
That's hilarious. Well, listen, we appreciate
there's guys right now kidnapping people all over the world, taking them to Alaska.
Looking for 2 years.
Yeah, the 37.
You'll learn how to adapt and grow together real quick.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you. We got to get to work out. We will, Pusky, have a great pagan Easter.
You too. You as well.
And listen, we always appreciate you. I'm getting another hug. Look at this one. Look at
That's such a good
One more
one.
air hug for Coach Plusky. Thank you guys for tuning in. 37 subscribers. We love you. We appreciate you. Happy Easter.
Love
And
you, Muff. Good to see you, buddy.
on the next. Peace.
See ya.
Yeah.